Last example today is to take a look at a sequence and see if you can figure out what the common ratio is, identify it as growth or decay, and give the percent change. So unlike some of the other ones, it's kind of hard to see what the growth rate or decay rate is going to be on each one of these. Hopefully you can tell that the first one in A is going to be a growth. So we sort of answered that second question, and the B is going to be a decay. So growth is going up, the decay is going down. So actually, let's write that down first. So we know this one is going to be growth, and we know B is going to be decay because this sequence is increasing, this one is decreasing in part B. All right, but how do we get that common ratio? Well, the common ratio is always going to be found when it is a geometric sequence. So first identify whether it is a geometric sequence. Essentially, we're telling you on this one that it is a geometric sequence. Take the second one divided by the first one. So the second term divided by the first term. So 58.8 divided by 42 is going to give you that common ratio of 1.4. So this is our multiplier right here. This is our common ratio of 1.4. So in other words, each time we're going to be multiplying by 1.4. So multiplying by 1.4 times 1.4 times 1.4 to keep our rate going. So it's going to be growing by a ratio of 1.4. Okay? Give the percent change that would be. So let's think about the percent change right here. So since it's growing, think about the fact that we always start at 100%, and if it's growing, that means that it's going to be more than 100%. To get 1.4, that would be 100% plus 40% is going to give us that 140% or 1.40 growth factor. So we are growing by 40% here. So that's the percent change. So it's an increase of 40%. So to go back to our questions again, common ratio is 1.4. That's our common ratio right here. It is a growth, and the percent change, so 40% would be our change amount. That is our percent change. All right, let's look at the second one. Follows the same logic. And so we know this one is a decay, and it's a geometric sequence. Let's take the second one divided by the first term. So second term divided by first term is 13.3 divided by 19, which gives us 0.7. All right, so this is our common ratio. That makes sense. In order for it to be decay, it has to be less than 1. So if we multiply something times 0.7 or 7/10, it should go down. And in order to get 7/10 as the common ratio, again, if we start at 100%, how would we get to 0.7? Well, we would be losing what percent? We'd be losing 30%. That gets us down to that 70% or 0.70 common ratio. So the percent change, sorry, the board is acting up a little bit here, is decreasing by 30%. So there's a 30% change in a decrease, just to be clear here. So it's decreasing by 30%. That concludes our examples for today. Now you can move on to the homework.